is going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Johnny Talks. Super excited to get this project going. It's been a project that I've been thinking about and working on for upwards of 2 years at this point. I just think podcasts are such a powerful way to get truth out there, to get information out there. I think it's one of the best forms of social media that we have just because of its long form content, really not being super edited, super changed. And I just think it's a great way to put content out there that's just raw and can really make a difference. So it's been something I wanted to start and do for a long time, just kind of figure out where I wanted to, kind of place the emphasis on it and how I wanted to go about it. And I kind of got the idea for Johnny Talks when I was sitting down one night and I was just trying to brainstorm ideas. What am I trying to get across here? What's the type of show, the type of content that I'm trying to create? And it came down to the fact that I want to create content through this podcast that is entertaining, but also that you can get something away from it. I like podcasts where I learn something, but I'm also entertained. So sometimes I walk away from a podcast that I listen to and I go, that was really entertaining, but there's nothing that I can apply to my life. Or there's a way around where I'll listen to a podcast and be like, yeah, there's some really good points of information here. There's some things that I can definitely apply to my life, but it was kind of a hard listen, hard to get through just because it wasn't super entertaining. So that's kind of when I thought to myself, what kind of content, what kind of way can I go about this to create episodes where it's entertaining, but also people can walk away being like, I didn't just waste an hour of my life. I've actually learned things that I can apply to my life and hopefully make it better. So that's kind of where the idea for Johnny Talks began. Sitting down with people that are pursuing excellence in their different facets of life, whether that's professional athletes, content creators, entrepreneurs, leaders of the faith, business owners, whatever that may be. Finding people that are pursuing success, that have had success, and just kind of talking to them. Some interviews may be more background in their life. Some interviews may be more mindsets, successes, failures, diving deep into those. So really just having conversations that unpack what's gotten them to this point, how have they pursued success, how are they pursuing success, but also hopefully do it in an entertaining way. So that's kind of the idea of Johnny Talks. So that's kind of the overall goal when I really look at this project, to create content that's entertaining, that's educational, but also that inspires people to go out every day and whatever they do, whatever their preferred choice of work, or whether it's school or athletics, whatever they're doing at that moment, just finding things to improve their life overall and also find ways to entertain as well. But enough of that. We're going to get to our first guest right now. Super excited to introduce Grant Horvat as the first interview on Johnny Talks. Grant is a golf personality. He's a YouTuber. He's a content creator. He's grown his YouTube channel to over 1 million subscribers, a huge name in the YouTube world in general, but specifically the golf content space. So here he is, Grant Horvat. First episode of Johnny Talks. I got a first guest here, big guest, golf influencer, YouTuber, content creator, now part-time business owner.
Yeah.
Grant Horvat, thank you for joining.
Johnny, appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, this is, it's been something I've been wanting to do for a while. So, when I finally decided kind of what the concept was going to be, had to invite you on to be the first guest. So I appreciate it.
Dude, we talked about starting like a golf podcast.
Yeah, a while ago.
Definitely right now, time is a hard thing to come by.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely something. I love podcasts. Like, I love talking. No. I don't ever really go on any podcast. So this is pretty cool.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. First, congrats on the part-time businesses. Not part-time business, but the part ownership in businesses. So part-time. Obviously Primo, and then lately Tacoma Golf. I have become a Tacoma bro recently.
Yep.
So 2 great brands. So that's just super cool. You're stepping out in those industries. So
yeah, I saw you got the what irons did you get?
I got the 201s, dude. They're butter.
Yeah,
I got them in the back of the truck. After this,
come on.
Yeah,
come on.
They're so sick.
I've never seen the 201s.
Yeah, dude. They're, in my opinion, they're the best.
Okay.
Because I just think they're so clean. They're kind of used to more what I'm used to. But first, dude, I just want to say congrats. 1 million subscribers you've hit recently on YouTube. Could you have ever imagined hitting, like 10 years ago, Grant Horvat sitting in math class?
Yeah.
Probably not paying attention.
Yeah. No.
1 million subscribers on YouTube. Could you have ever seen that happening?
Math class. Actually was decent at math.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't think I really paid attention. You nailed that one. 1 million subscribers. Yeah, no, it was, I mean, the coolest part is there's not many people that have hit that milestone in the golf niche. 100%. So, you know, you would think there'll be people that come along in the next couple of years that all hit 1 million, but you just don't know.
Right.
And that's something we actually talk about a lot. Me and my team were always like, who's the next like up and coming creator? And it doesn't seem like there's, you know, one person really breaking in. It's hard and it takes time to grow a really authentic fan base. And yeah, it's been amazing.
Well, have you like thought about like what that number actually means? Because I think in the social media world now, where, you know, you can post a video and it can get 250,000 views in like an hour, and it's like, oh yeah, 250,000 views. When you actually step back and think about it, 250,000 people. Like, I was looking this up, preparing for this, and it's like the state of Delaware has just over 1 million people in it. Yeah. So it's like as many people are in the state of Delaware, click subscribe on your YouTube channel. Like, when you think about it in that sense, like, it's actually insane.
It is, yeah. And actually, funny moment recently, I hit a shot on 16 at the Waste Management just recently when I played in the Pro-Am.
Yeah.
It was in regulation. Like, we got up to the 16th hole. It was me, Michael Phelps, Justin Thomas, and a
little flex there,
and Merrill Kelly, the baseball player, and great at like awesome. Like, Michael Phelps, nicest guy.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I've actually gotten to meet him too.
Such a cool guy. Yeah, you were out in Arizona.
Yeah, I met him back in like 2016. Gotcha. I was like just a little freshman in college, getting to work the Waste Management.
Yeah.
I remember he marked his, he only played Tireless ones, and he marked it with a gold circle. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. He's not bad. He's not bad at all.
He's got game.
Yeah. He does his little stretch for like the hit. But yeah, I would say like when you say 1 million subscribers and you're talking about like the magnitude of that and then like viewership on the videos, I would say that the one moment that was really cool was at the Waste Management a couple weeks ago. Hit the shot on 16. I don't really think people are paying attention. Like, there's thousands of people, but they're all drinking and they're all talking.
Right.
They're not really like engaged for the Pro-Am. So like I hit the shot to 6 feet. I think there was like a couple claps.
Yeah.
But then you get up to the green to hit the putt, and I like looked up into the grandstands and like was giving some fist pumps, and there was like 1,000 people like chanting and like. And
they like know who you are.
Yeah, that was the coolest part.
That's the cool.
So that was like the first, because you see viewership and you see all these numbers on a screen.
Yeah.
But to actually go to the Waste Management, you know, these are all golfers,
right?
Most of them, and then look up into the grandstands like that and start fist pumping, and they were all like chanting my name, and like it was just so cool. It was like one of the coolest.
Yeah, I can imagine that's a pretty like surreal thing, because it's like, you can see the numbers, but when you actually see, oh, there's people that actually care about me and like what I'm doing, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's cool because like even Justin was talking about it with Sky, my videographer.
Yeah,
he was like, it's crazy that like people, you know, are so invested in the YouTube golf, and it's super humbling, and it's like the one time, because it was the first Pro-Am I've actually ever played in where there was a live crowd.
Right.
So the other Pro-Ams I played in were during COVID. So no fans were allowed.
Okay. So yeah, totally different.
Totally different.
And especially at that tournament too, right? Because it's made, that and kind of a tournament like the Players, like those are made for, you know, people to come and watch. So it's just like,
oh, it was
every hole.
Freaking out. But yeah, just like I've just never felt anything like it. Just like the crowd interaction was so fun, and I never say no to anybody that like wants a picture, or like I don't know how to handle that. Like,
I can vouch for that.
Because Phelps is like, he's like giving us, like, he came over to us and we're like, Michael Phelps, like the most amazing Olympian of all time. Like, everybody knows who Michael Phelps is. So he's dealing with like crowds and everything. He's like trying to tell, he's like, don't walk over there. Right. Like, he's like, you make them come to you if you want them to, like, because he's like, well, the second you go over. He's handled this
for a while.
Yeah, he's been doing this whole life. But enough of that. What is so tell me really quick though, this is your podcast.
Yeah.
Johnny Talks.
Johnny Talks.
What are you going to be doing on this? And like, I feel like before we even go to that, like people should know that we're friends.
Yes. Yeah. We've known each other for a while.
Before this, like, we're actually in my house right now.
Yeah, we're in Grant Horvat's house.
We're
currently gonna be building another one here soon.
We're building another one right now,
which is exciting.
But this is our house for now, and it's wonderful. But yeah, I mean, you drove 4 hours from Tampa. We've known each other for a while now. You're in the influencing world. Your wife, especially TikTok, everything. So you know the world. But it was really cool because you just drove over here 4 hours. Said I'll meet you in your living room. Yeah. And we made this happen. So yeah, it's I'm excited to see where this all goes.
I appreciate that. It was something where, I've talked about wanting to do it for a while, whether it's golf or sports or politics or faith. And then I kind of really took a step back and I was like, who am I where someone really needs to hear my opinion on something every day? Why don't I go find people that are doing cool things, like being successful in the areas that they want to do or in they're pursuing, and just talk to them, just pick their brains. Some interviews maybe just be more about their life or others more about strategy. So finding people that are being successful and just talking to them. Some interviews might be more, entertaining or funny than others, and others might be more informational, but just getting something out of it is mainly what I want to do.
Yeah.
But so going back to YouTube and the growth, you're talking about the fame. YouTube golf has obviously gotten huge. I think there are many different factors for that being happened recently. I would say in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I think one of them, obviously the uprise of social media, the decline of what we would normally see as normal television, cable television. So the upgrade in streaming and different services like that. But I also think, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, a big reason why YouTube golf has gotten so huge is partly due to the decline of maybe the PGA Tour TV product and specifically the LIV PGA Tour split.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? And do you think that's had any impact on the growth of golf specifically on YouTube?
Yeah. I mean, obviously with PGA Tour LIV stuff right now, really weird spot. Viewership is kind of declining on the PGA Tour by a lot.
Yeah.
And then you have the LIV as well. And I think YouTube, where we've been, is kind of like in the middle of both sides. Like, I love to go play with the LIV guys, and I love to go play with the PGA Tour guys. Like, I'm not picking a side, and I feel like it's been amazing for YouTube golf because we can go film with, players from either tour, and it really doesn't matter. Like, people you would think. I mean, the reality is, like, when you go film with a LIV person or a PGA Tour person, they don't really care either way.
Right.
They love to see John Rahm and Sergio, and they also love to see anyone on the PGA Tour. So that's been cool. But I think golf is already, like, it was booming really hard during COVID.
Especially, COVID.
And I think COVID was like the biggest reason for the growth of golf, for sure. And I think everyone would agree on that. We've all seen this huge spike. Now, the majors, I think, are still going to be thriving.
Yeah,
I think when everyone comes together.
I would say even more than maybe before, because it's truly the only time, as of right now, that the world's best are getting together.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm the most excited to actually see is what do the major championships viewership look like?
Yeah.
Like, what is that going to look like this year?
So you're talking about bringing PGA Tour and LIV players on your channel. That's something that I've really enjoyed about your content recently. Is I feel like you've really put emphasis on having those guys on the channel. Was that just kind of coincidence, or did you kind of notice, hey, maybe the PGA Tour product is not as great as it once was, or not as appealing as it once was, but there's still the itching of people to be able to want to see these stars on their TV, and YouTube is a great way to do it. So was that like an intentional strategy you had, or did you just kind of coincidentally over time, okay, these videos are popping off pretty well?
Yeah, I think that I would say that whenever you film with a PGA Tour or LIV player or a pro that has had a lot of success, and you shine them in a different light, whether they're just like hanging out and having a good time,
right?
You see a whole different side of them.
Yeah.
So when they're competing week in and week out on the PGA Tour or LIV or whatever tour, you see this very serious side that is completely focused. They're not really like talking. They're not saying much. And if they are,
they're at work.
They're at work.
They're at work.
Exactly. And they're in a highly stressful environment.
Yeah.
And so like, let's take John Rahm, for example. John and I text all the time, and he's such a nice guy. Love John. But he's like, if you watch John play, he plays with a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
And a lot of
He
fire.
looks pissed off.
Yeah, he looks mad. And I see people always saying, man, he's like giving him like hate and stuff. And John is such a nice guy.
Right.
And like, if you just go hang out with John or you play with him, like whenever we're just filming a YouTube video, he's the best. He's talking trash. Like, it's so much fun.
You wouldn't see him on tour or on a coverage and think that's the guy who's gonna go shoot with Grant Horvat, but he does.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's cool is what you've brought out in the videos is that personal side.
And he watched YouTube golf,
which is crazy.
Before I met John, he knew all about it.
Has that been surprising for you that some of these guys actually like know who you are?
Yeah. You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah, actually the other night went to TGL, like Ludwig and Shane Lowry and a couple guys. Like,
he's such a stud.
Yeah, all the Ludwig's insane, but like Shane Lowry and a couple of them like came up and said my name, and
that's insane.
And we've never met. So that was crazy. That, like, for me, that's the coolest thing because I don't watch football or baseball.
Right.
So every golfer to me, like the Ricky Fowlers, the Justin Thomas, the Jordan Spieth, those are my like Michael Jordans.
Yeah.
Like, if I meet I just don't watch. I don't know the value of like a great football player and a great baseball player.
When you go film with Josh Allen, I'm probably more pumped that you're filming with Josh Allen than you're probably pumped to be doing.
I'm so pumped,
but
I'm not trying to diminish.
No. But I'm saying is Josh Allen is that dude is just like insane. You know him as probably good golfer, good guy. But dude, I mean, he's MVP.
Yeah,
I just filmed with him. That's insane.
Yeah, and he's the nicest. And like, but it's sometimes good. Like I like. Because at the end of the day, like when you bring Josh Allen on the channel, I don't think he wants to be just asked just about football. And what's this decision like? Because first off, I couldn't ask him a football question. I got nothing to ask him about football. But I also think that he likes that because he doesn't have to talk about the same. Exactly. Yeah, he doesn't have to talk about the same old questions that he gets asked a million times. So, it is cool. But back to your question, definitely showing the pros in a different light with them just hanging out is the most powerful thing about YouTube golf because it's the only time that you really get to see an intimate, like just an intimate look into what they're like with their buddies on the golf course or when they're not in competition mode. So they're like a whole different person.
Which I think was a good thing about the Netflix show and what it did. And I wish it kind of did even more of is I don't really care as much of what we see what's mostly on the course. I want to see what those guys are like off the course. I think that's what is cool.
Humanizes them for sure.
So going back to we talked about a little bit of the fame before. Obviously, with the growth of YouTube golf, the top YouTube golfers, I say arguably, are some of the most famous golfers in society right now. You could look at it by how they're interacted in public. And I will say firsthand experience, anytime I'm in public with you, in a golf scenario, it blows my mind every time how many people come up. I remember we were playing a course in St. Pete last summer, and it was after a rain. There was like nobody out there. One person saw us, and like in a 15-minute span, it somehow spread across to, I don't even know where these people were coming from. They were coming across to grab pictures. I remember one time we went to the PGA Championship, and I was like, dude, I got to go watch by myself because I couldn't.
Yeah, I forgot we went to the PGA together.
I could not watch.
That was a fun
second
time
of golf because of how many phones I was getting handed to take photos. But going back to that, how has that been going in the last few years from someone who outside of your inner circles, no one really, knew you, to someone who is relatively famous, especially in the golf world? How has that transition been?
I mean, I feel like it's been pretty easy. Like it hasn't been anything that's like.
And you handle it all so well too, as far as the interaction.
Yeah, I love meeting people that watch the videos.
Right.
I think that it's kind of affirming that they care.
Right.
But yeah, no, I don't take it for granted. And like anytime somebody wants to come up and say hi and you meet people, it's like I don't think I'll ever reach a point in my life where I know I won't, where I'm just like. No pictures,
Right.
Like I love meeting people, and it's so cool that they care so much.
Right.
And like the stories just over the last couple of years of just the interactions with subscribers and fans, it's been just wild to hear the stories.
Well, and you also have to, I hate when I see content creators or different people that really make their living off of other people's viewership, like shun other people when they come up to them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how you have a living. That's how you get to do what you do. Like, who do you think you are where you can be like, I'm not doing this, I'm doing that. So you obviously could do it, but you don't. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't take it for granted, because it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, we're so lucky to be able to do what we do, like go out and film golf videos. Like it's
perspective,
so
right?
Yeah, it is.
Perspective.
Every day, like you wake up, you got to have that perspective, because, you can't, I mean, it could all be taken away.
I think that's important, just not even for people making golf content, but just like any job you have, any situation you have, just perspective in general is just huge. Like
100%.
You have no idea like what other people are going through and the situations other people are in. And so sometimes you can be down on yourself about a certain thing or a certain day, and you don't realize like you're in the top 99% of the world of opportunities and things you got going for you.
Yeah, we had, speaking of that, one time, probably the craziest fan interaction ever. Had a guy come running up crying and hugging me. And just like start crying.
Just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, yeah. Started crying. And apparently like he almost died, and he was like in the hospital, and he was watching the videos to like make it through. And like it was giving him like some sense of joy in this time where he thought he was not going to make it. And so that was like,
that's so cool.
That was the coolest one. I still remember that so vividly. Like that was by far the most wild one. But
because I'm sure there's days too where, don't get me wrong, like you would say yourself, like you got a good life, you got it good going, but there's certainly days where you don't want to make that trip. You don't want to maybe film that video, or not feeling out to it. But like remembering that those people are like actually gaining joy from the stuff you're creating, I think is like huge for that and for that perspective.
And it's 100%. And that's, I don't know. A lot of people talk about, I hear the word burnout.
Yeah.
And like, I just haven't even slightly got there,
which is insane.
I feel so unbelievably motivated to keep going, and just keep making the best videos possible, because I love it.
Yeah.
And it's also just such a rewarding career. Like you get to see what you just filmed on TV, and you get to like watch it back.
Right.
And like I love, like I don't really like, I've been bad about proof watching the videos. Like I trust Skylar.
Yeah.
I put a lot of faith into him.
We'll get to Sky in a little bit. We're gonna shout out.
I put a lot of faith in Sky to just watch the videos over. Because he's been so amazing with everything. Like he grinds so hard. He's a huge asset to the team. That's my videographer. He helps with more than just being a videographer. Yeah. But yeah, like to be able to like post the video, it's obviously getting a lot of interaction and doing well. Like I'll come back and I'll sit here right on the couch and I'll watch the video and just be like smiling. Like I love it. Like it's such a fulfilling career, and I'm very lucky to do it.
I do want to come back to kind of that motivation and that drive in a little bit, but before we get into that, let's jump back a little bit. Before the golf content, before the YouTube career, kind of where did you, just kind of overall in life, but also specifically golf, where did your golf career begin? Kind of how did that go as far as your playing career, kind of right up until you started making content? Just a quick overview of your background.
So I got into golf when I was a little later in life. So I got into golf when I was like 13 or 14.
Which is crazy. No, but your dad's a PGA professional.
Yeah, my dad's a pro, exactly. So I was kind of around golf growing up. And I was like, I thought it was so boring. I played basketball. I thought golf was so boring. Didn't really want to get into it. I would go to the course, I'd hit a couple, and I never really liked it. Something clicked. I don't remember the exact moment. Started to hit more balls, and then I just got addicted.
Yeah.
And so from like 13 to, I didn't have much time. I was behind. My dad was always like, you're going to have to catch up.
Yeah.
Because the reality is like people have been playing since they're 5 years old. I'm 13 and I'm shooting like 98.
Right.
And I'm trying to play college golf.
Right.
And so now it's like, and this actually is a great thing for a lot of junior golfers out there that, are trying to play in college. Like my whole goal was, I started late. I need to grind now. So I would practice so much, but I wanted to also just compete in junior golf tournaments to have a resume to then go play college golf. That was the goal.
Right.
So it was like, how could I make sure that I get a scholarship in college? And that was like, obviously I'm going to have to put in the work. We're going to have to shoot the scores, but I had to play a ton of junior golf tournaments to keep trying to prove to myself that I can do it under the pressure. And so I had a pretty solid junior golf career when I moved to Florida at 16, 17 years old. Then got a opportunity to play at Palm Beach Atlantic, Division II school, great school. And it was actually like
beautiful campus.
Yeah, beautiful campus. And it was 20 minutes from home because I
shout out Luke Johansson.
Yeah,
Luke Johansson.
But I was kind of looking at FGCU, Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah,
looking at that school, and then PBA. I was kind of deciding, but I love this area so much. I was fishing so much. It's crazy to say, but truly, like it was I loved to go out on the boat and go fishing with my uncle, and I was like, I need to stay around this area, and so yeah,
you hadn't been here like too long because you didn't grow up in Florida.
No, I grew up in Michigan and Pennsylvania. I lived in Michigan.
Which I feel like a lot of people don't know. They just see fishing, Levington, Grant, and they're like, it's Florida boy.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not a Florida boy.
Turned into a Florida boy.
Yeah, I did turn into one. We always had a house when I was young, but a lot of people do not know that. I lived in Michigan for like 9 years growing up. And lived
practically Canadian.
Pretty much, right on the border.
Right on the border.
But then, Pennsylvania for about 5-6 years. And then Florida. So it was like a whole transition. But yeah, long story short, junior golf, got into college, got into PBA to play golf. 4 years there. Senior year is when I left college, got my degree, and leave. I actually did get the degree, shockingly enough. I didn't walk on the stage.
Was it because of COVID?
No, I just moved out to Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I already moved out to Dallas to then join Good and start filming with Garrett stuff.
Okay, so different people come in at different times as far as like when they follow you, right? So they jump in at different points in your journey. So some people may not know kind of how you got started in that content game, golf creation game. You originally started filming with Garrett Clark, GM Golf, and then transitioned into joining Good.
Yeah.
How did that relationship with Garrett start? Where did you meet? Kind of how did that relationship build? And then how did that end up to you joining Good?
Yeah, so Garrett and I were friends before YouTube. Mm-hmm. So Garrett and I so he came to my college, and that's where I met him.
Okay, what was he doing there?
He had a girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a girlfriend at PBA. And so, yeah, I met him kind of when he was, around campus. And yeah, we kind of hit it off really quick, Garrett and I. Like
Did you recognize him from like, oh, that's the guy that does like trick shots?
I recognized him from Instagram. Okay. So I remember I was talking like, I saw his stingers or something, or I saw his swing online, and I was like I remember I was always fired up to tell him that like I could beat him.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, I'm going to just, like I would always tell him that like I can beat you. Like I was watching his swings and stuff on Instagram. Like, I can do that.
Oh,
like,
before content, Grant was a little hater online.
Yeah, I was. No, I never got like. No, Johnny, this guy's the worst. He'll get deep into the.
I'm always defending you though.
Yeah, you are, but you like to get after it.
Not anymore. I'm changed.
No, okay, you turned to leave, but no, it's just Garrett and I were friends before we got into the YouTube game, and I feel like that's so powerful because when you're going to have like true chemistry on camera, right, and it's going to work well, like you need to have chemistry before you start filming. You can't just be like, you can't have nothing to build off of it. So Garrett and I, we played a lot of Call of Duty together. Like almost one summer, I think we spent a lot of time together playing Call of Duty. But yeah, we just hung out a lot before social media and before we got into YouTube. Then senior year comes up. I'm about to graduate college. Garrett's like, you want to come out and do GM golf with me?
Did you have any thoughts of chasing the professional game at all, like up until that point, or did you really have no idea what you were going to do after college, and that just kind of was like, I guess I'll just go into this?
Yeah, no, no shot on the professional side.
Right. Did you have any plans?
No.
Okay.
I played my first year of freshman college golf, and I was like, I'm done with ever going pro.
Competitive.
Yeah. I was like, I hate this.
Dude, once you get a scorecard in your hand, it's just a complete different.
Oh, 100%. But then funny enough, in college, terrible freshman year. Sophomore year, a lot better. Junior and senior year, you can go look it up online.
You shot some good scores, dude.
I had like a 73 scoring
which
average.
People don't realize is very, very good for specifically the courses you're playing and under that type of pressure. Like tournament golf is a completely different animal.
100%.
A 73 scoring average is an impressive year.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and like I actually shocked myself, like completely, because what happened was like I was so defeated freshman year, I wanted to quit golf. I actually wanted to quit the golf team. Yeah, and my mom was like, "I really think you need to keep pushing," and my dad. But I remember having a conversation on the phone with my mom where I was like, "I really want to give this up. Like I think I'm done playing golf. Like I just don't think it's for me." And like I was struggling. I was shooting like high 70s and like just getting so frustrated. And they kept pushing me to keep going. And hey, if I didn't keep going, it'd be a whole different outcome. So
you ever think about that?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't know how my life would have turned out, but obviously God had a different.
It's crazy how just one decision or one not making a certain decision changes a whole. Like I look back on my life all the time, and be like, if I didn't do this, I think
everybody can do that though. Yeah. Like everybody watching this at one point in your life, like where you've ended up now. Yeah. You got to look at the series of events that have taken place and the decisions that you've made to make it to where you are. Because every day you're making decisions.
You can get in such like a crazy like thought pattern if you really think about every like school decision.
Yeah, you can't. You got to just like, well, for people that don't necessarily have put their faith in the Lord, like you put your faith in Jesus, and like I feel like your life, you know that He's in control, and like the rest is like, I mean, because if it truly, you can do what you just said. Like you can think about every little decision you're making, and you will drive yourself into a wall, right? If you were to live your life like that, just like thinking that you control everything, because the reality is like there's certain things that need to happen. Like looking back on my life, like videos that have transpired and moments that have happened, like I could have never. That's out of my control. Like I don't have the power to make all this happen. Yeah. So it's like something else was definitely making all this happen.
Right. No, it's crazy. Just one. I mean, even how. I mean, I'm married with a 1.5-year-old, and it's like the reason I met my wife was I sent her a DM on Instagram. Yeah. Like that's my whole. I couldn't imagine my life any different. Yeah. I don't know what I would be doing, but if I didn't send a singular DM, like who knows where I'd be.
That's how I met my wife. We both met her.
I know it's crazy, but it's like that's what I'm saying. Is like just a decision you make on a certain day. But yeah, you can't get too like focused on the daily little things. You just gotta,
but back to what we kind of got off a little, but
philosophical.
Back to where we were headed. Just Garrett right out of college. Went and started GM golf with Garrett.
So you moved to Dallas.
Moved to Dallas the day actually before I graduated.
Did you move in with him, or did you just like?
No, I moved into the good house right away. So actually I had like 6 months left to finish in college. And Garrett asked me like when I had those 6 months left if, I wanted to go out and do YouTube with him. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I think I should drop out of college. Like I was like, when will I ever use this degree? Yeah.
Like I already knew. What were you majoring in?
Business management, entrepreneurship. But like I was
most basic.
Yeah, I was exactly. I was thinking to myself that like at that moment, people are always like, when did you think like it was going to be like a thing? When did you think it was going to work? And I was like, I don't know what it was. Like Garrett and I already filmed videos before that, so there was obviously
filmed a couple like during your junior and
exactly. Okay. So Garrett, like we already knew that people liked seeing us together. So it wasn't like, is it going to work? Right. Like we already saw it, so it was already like proof of concept. So when Garrett asked me to like go do GM golf with him, it was like we knew it was gonna. And Garrett obviously knew as well. He was taking a risk bringing me in, but I feel like he knew, and I was very confident, and like we were both like on the same page. And so, when I had 6 months left, I was like, I think I need to drop out of college. Finished it out though. Made sure I got the degree. Never have touched. I don't even know where it's at. Yeah. It's somewhere deep in the.
It's probably in your parents.
It's probably at my parents. Yeah. I bet my mom has it somewhere. But I just after that happened really quick. Started doing GM golf videos with Garrett out in Dallas. Never was the true plan to join Good. That was never like
kind of organically happened.
Exactly. So that was never in the in the sticks, like, or never in the plan there. So I filming GM golf videos, got invited on a Good Week essentially. It worked out really well.
Where was that first one?
Las Vegas.
Okay.
Vegas, yeah. And man, I don't go to Vegas much, but it was Vegas. Valley High. Valley High was like the first.
So windy there always.
Yeah. First time I was ever like, actually, bring it back. I was in a Good video before that. Dallas. I subbed in. But I was just kind of like there in the Good house. Yeah. And like, it was always like, am I allowed to come on like a
that was their
week?
thing. And
yeah, and I was like, I'm just gonna do GM golf with Garrett.
You're Garrett's buddy for
yeah, and I was like, I'm good with this. Like, I don't need to join Good. It was always the dream, but I was like, you know,
you didn't want to be too pushy with it.
No, for sure.
Then they kind of they like close up.
Exactly. So I never like was like, can I join? It was more just like it happened naturally.
When did it like hit you? Like anytime we press record, there's this many people about to watch. Did that ever?
Oh, it did. Yeah, all the time. So in the beginning, it was bad. Yeah. So like,
it's nerve-wracking.
Intros.
I tried stepping on your channel one time. Never again.
Dude, I remember that.
That was not for me.
Oh my gosh.
That was not for me.
I remember we did that match. So I had that challenge accepted series where I was like going around.
That's how we met.
Yeah, that's how we met.
Yeah.
Sadie and I, so my wife and I, she actually kind of came up with the idea. She was like, you need to go just challenge random people that call you out and want a match.
Yeah.
So she like called it like the challenge accepted. So little tiny series, nothing crazy back then. One camera, it was just my wife.
Yeah, Sadie was filming.
Yeah, and you were like one of the episodes, but you could tell. So what I've noticed, kind of to your question, like when people get in front of the camera, everything changes.
Yeah.
So like if you're talking to them like right now, you can have this like great conversation.
Right.
You press record, they can like completely just like into this bubble, and you're just like, whoa, you're not the same like person I was just talking to.
Well, and in golf too, it's like it's so much like in your hands and your arms, and it's like when you're here, you can't do anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
It's just that was
and so it for me being in front of the camera, being straight out of college, not knowing like what it was like, and kind of just being thrown into it quick. I was just like anybody. Like you can't tell me there's not a person out there like that's just a average golfer. You throw them on a video that they know is going to get, let's say, 1 million views. That's a lot of. It's just a lot of. You feel it.
like that's what we were talking about earlier. That is so many people when you
Yeah.
actually boil it down to like.
I try and block that out
Yeah,
though. I really like when I'm filming the 5-shot challenges where you get a big guess, or like even the Phil series now. It's like I do know in the back of my head how many people are watching that.
Yeah.
And it is like if you start thinking about it, it's bad.
You go down a bad path.
Yes, you do not want to think about it.
That's kind of like when I think about eternity, that gets bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things. No, there's just certain things like your brain would never
doesn't
like your
comprehend.
brain's not supposed to know.
No.
And it's like it's ignorance is bliss in certain areas, but like when you're thinking, if I'm over a putt and I'm thinking it's a 4-footer and I'm like 3 million people are about to watch me, 2 million, whatever. If it's a Phil series, especially, that's you're gonna like you can't like there's no way Tiger in his prime is worried about that. No. There's no way Phil's worried
It's
about
kind of
that.
the same thing when you hear guys like I've heard Wesley be like, I'm not sitting on a 5-footer on tour thinking about the money if I make or miss. That's kind of how you have to be.
Exactly.
You're not thinking about
but there probably has been times for him to be able to say that. There has been times that he probably has.
Right.
And just like every single PGA Tour player or whatever, even live players, because they're playing for huge purses.
Yeah.
At some point in their career, they thought about how much, like where they're at on the leaderboard. Like if I make bogey here, I'm going to drop down, I'm going to lose 200 grand. Like it's human nature.
Yeah.
So there's not a time where I would say like the only person that probably mastered that to like the highest level was Tiger. And then maybe like even Scotty now, like he's probably, I think he just wants to win.
Well,
like if he finishes 10th or he finishes 25th, like he doesn't care.
There's some guys too that actually brings out the best in them. And I think that's where you've gotten. I feel like your best golf is played on camera.
For sure. I mean, it makes me focus more.
Right.
It's hard to say though right now, actually. I've been able to
focus in a little more on casual rounds.
Yes. Yeah. So casual golf, I've been playing a ton here at Jupiter. So like that's one thing which just recently changed in my life. Like I play golf every day.
It's nice.
Like I know it's like
as a dad of a
and there's probably people right now. Yeah, there's probably people right now out in the snow, and they're like I don't mean that to come off as like
it's your job, bro. It's your job.
Well, I'm just like I've met so many amazing people here in Jupiter,
Yeah.
members at these private courses, and they want to play every day. They play every day.
Right.
So I'm just kind of getting invited, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to say no to a 4-hour wonderful round of golf at a private golf course. Like, it is so much fun. But it also just sharpens my craft and what I'm doing for a living. Like,
you're practicing.
right.
You
But
gotta put on good content.
what I've noticed is the casual rounds of golf that I've been playing recently, I feel like I've been starting to really shoot some good scores. So I'll shoot like 68, 67's a good bit. 4 and 5 under. It's usually like my sweet spot. But the issue is I then it kind of puts more pressure on me for the camera because I just went out and shot a 68. So I'm thinking to myself, I just shot a 68 yesterday. Now when the camera's on, like, let's do that again.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't happen. And then it really fires me up.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me really mad because I wasn't filming
Yeah.
that round. Like, I'm not filming when I just shot a 67, made every putt, camera turns on, miss every single putt. Everyone's like, you need a new putter or like everything. I'm like, if y'all only saw what just happened yesterday, it would have been a whole different story.
Everybody's Monday morning quarterback, right? Everyone's like, you got to do this, got to do that.
Yeah.
But jumping back into Good. We're going to move on from in a second. But obviously, currently, you are not a member of Good. So you did eventually leave. What were some of those maybe factors or first events that started to lead you in the decision to think, okay, I think I'm going to move on and kind of start doing my own thing?
Yeah, I mean, to explain all that would take a while. We'd have to go into a lot of, it'd be a long story. But the main thing was like, I started to love YouTube golf and like love the art of YouTube while in Good. Like, it started to become this thing where I was like, I don't know. I started to love the art of the thumbnails and titles and how it all works. And I was like, I just felt there was a calling that I needed to, I felt like Good was going one direction and I wanted to go a different direction. And that was basically, I'll summarize it in that way. Like, they wanted to go one direction, I wanted to go another, and my direction was not going to look the same. And so, obviously, looking back now, a couple years later, very, very good decision in my life. So, I couldn't imagine that it would have turned out this way.
So when you did make that decision to leave, there was obviously a ton of people that supported your decision. It's also fair to say that there was a lot of people who showed hate or were upset by that decision. How did you handle that hate? Because I feel like before, you didn't probably get a ton of hate. You're Grant, you're the smiley guy, you're, everyone's positive energy, positive guy out there. And so that may have been the first time you received that amount of hate. How were you directly after, specifically mentally dealing with that type of hate?
Pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say one of the lowest moments in this career?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because it was the first time, you really get awful messages sent to you. And yeah, it was intense. Yeah, just like the amount of DMs, and you see, every time you go on your phone, you see a million different opinions, and yeah, it was wild. But what it did, I look at it as a positive thing because it kind of thickened my skin for what's to come, and like, you got to be prepared. It kind of prepared me for like what's to come in the future. I just feel like in this space, you're going to have a million comments and a million different opinions, and people are not going to like you. And that is the reality of it. And
that's okay too.
Yeah.
Right. What type of person is liked by everybody? You're probably a fake person if you're liked by everybody.
Right. 100%. And so I read them all the time, even now. It's like,
and they don't know you like that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, a lot of times it's coming from things they may not even understand.
Yeah. And it's just something where I'm kind of used to now. It's still human nature. It still bothers you, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's still like, dang, we never even got to like spend, like, this guy on the internet, we've never got to hang out, probably. And it is a very like shallow thing to do, is to like go on the internet and say like, I hate this person, or whatever, I can't stand. But like, I get it, you cannot please everybody, but it is tough. So like, even with like pros that I've once what I'm realizing, just like kind of flipping it, I had some opinions on pros from watching them on TV. And like, man, I don't know if I really like this guy. You go meet them and like, they're the nicest person. You're like, wow, I feel terrible.
Right.
And so that's kind of how I try and look at it now. Like with anybody that I would ever like, not necessarily agree with or like on the internet or on TV, I'm like, you got to always give them a chance.
Yeah.
And if you give them a chance, you still don't like them, that's fine. Like you can't like everybody. No one likes it. Like
no. If you were trying to make content that made everyone happy, you'd be making some crappy content. Like that's for sure.
Yeah. But I feel like for the most part, 98% of everything's positive, but there is the 1% to 2% that's very, very negative, and that's okay.
Well, it's also human nature. Like you can read 15 great comments. Not one that's like just negative, just pisses you off or everything. It's like, why is that human nature that one negative thing just like sticks out? But it's something that you could eventually learn to like grow, and I think that's probably something that ended up callousing you a little bit.
Yeah, I would say like one of the most liked people. Like if you want to say like, is there someone that you don't even think gets hate? Because you're just saying like everybody gets hate. You rarely will see hate for like Fat Perez or like
he's probably
or Bob. Yeah. Like it's really hard to find.
But that's impressive on their part. Yeah, it's like that's
it is. It's really hard because I mean they're just so funny. Yeah. And I mean Bob, like me and Bob golf actually a lot together.
So he moved out here recently, right?
Yeah, we just played like 2 days in a row a couple days ago. Off camera, just for fun.
Yeah.
And like Bob's the best. Like Bob,
would you say he's the exact same?
Exact. Yeah. Exact. Like one of the best. Like he's such a fun guy to be around. If I want to go play a round of golf with like anybody, I have like a lot of my best friends I go play golf with, but like Bob is definitely like so high up on the list. Like it's so much fun with Bob. Like we went and played Adios. So it's actually a men's only golf course.
Interesting.
So wild. Very pure, very wealthy.
Where's that?
Private. It's in Boca.
Okay.
Went out and played there with Anthony Rizzo, the Yankees player.
Right.
And we had the best day. I mean, it was so much fun. It was like me and Anthony's friend, Al, and we took on Bob and Anthony Rizzo.
Anthony crushes the ball too.
Yeah. He's pretty solid. Yeah. Anthony's solid, man.
Dude.
Yeah. And it was just so much fun. But yeah, Bob invited me and we had a great time. But like I said, I can't speak highly enough about the time I've spent with Bob. Joey too. Like not forgetting Joey. Like Joey's amazing as well. FP's amazing. Like they're all, I've spent a lot of time. I've probably played the most rounds of golf with Bob, just like off camera.
Right.
And it's just like same exact. It'd be so funny. And like at any given moment, you're like waiting for him. Like I got a chicken Caesar wrap.
Yeah.
Or I got this like
those wraps.
I got this like buffalo chicken wrap at Adios, and it was like barbecue buffalo chicken wrap. Or I don't even know. It was so good, but like the grill there's insane, and they said try this wrap.
Yeah.
And so I get this wrap, and like Rizzo comes over, and like Bob's like, I'm like, Bob, you got to try this. Like, just give it a go. And he's like, you really think, G? He's like, you're gonna let me give it a go? I'm like, yeah, give it a go. He's like, all right. And he like takes a bite, and you know how when Bob, like everybody around Bob, like the three of us, like we like stare at him like to get into character. Like we're like waiting for him to like give this review. 2 minutes. And like, everybody, like you could just tell we're all like, do it. Like be funny. You know what I mean? And there's like so much pressure on Bob to like be funny, but he says like 2 words and it was the funniest thing. I don't even know what he said.
Delivers every time.
Yeah, he delivered it perfect, like the review. And it was so, it's so funny, man. Cause like he's this, like you said, same exact off camera as he is on camera. And that's just like, but that's also George and Wes.
Yeah.
Like George and Wes, like I'm with them all the time. Like literally same exact person off camera as they are on camera. And those are like guys that I've gotten
I would think those end up being the people that over time continue to be successful, right? Because it's easy to, maybe fake something for a little bit or ride a certain personality for a little bit. I think the people that are the most themselves throughout
Yes,
their content.
authentic
is the word I'm looking for. Appreciate it. Continue that rise over time and continue able to grow. Because I think people can see that.
What I've seen, the craziest thing that I've watched, just doing long form, because short form you can blow up quick. Like if you blow up on TikTok or Reels, you can just and then it's just boom.
It's the algorithm.
It's just boom, boom, and it's usually happens every single time. Like I've rarely seen people just go and then ride it and keep going.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So the people that, whether it's in the golf space or in general entertainment, streamers, whatever, the people that play a character that are not necessarily themselves, they're playing a character, and people know that.
Yeah.
But it can be extremely funny for a couple month period, and it rides this huge wave. But the character will always start to like die out almost every single time, unless they're so funny or there's certain qualities that can sustain. But what I've seen is just people come so fast up and so quick down because you're playing a character.
Right. And it's, you try to change that a little bit to try to, okay, I'm going to try to start slowly changing my content back to who I actually am. And we'll see that fast.
Yeah. And so it's so hard to pivot at that point.
That's why I think when you're beginning doing content, it's so important to just be yourself.
100%. Yeah, I would say that exactly. That's what I've said from the beginning. When people ask me like, I'm really thinking about getting into YouTube.
Right.
I want to start doing videos, whether it's YouTube golf or whatever. It's like, okay, great. But are you actually passionate about it? And are you actually like, is it, because you'll bleed through.
Right.
Like if you love golf and you love what you're doing, it bleeds through and you don't even have to try. You know what I mean? Like Theo Vaughn, I think he's the funniest guy ever. I watch his podcast. Kills me. But like, I always sit there and I watch him in this podcast. I'm like, how is he so funny? Like, how does he do what he's like? How does he think and like say these jokes? And it's like, that's what he's meant to do.
Yeah.
Like he's
just being himself.
Exactly. He's just being himself, and he's not trying to be somebody he's not.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's just so many answers. But yeah, you're so right. Like being authentic and have like, if you're truly passionate, whether it's golf, it could be anything though. It could be general entertainment like YouTube. If you're passionate about food and like you want to do, like there's so many food guys out there on YouTube as well. And they are you can tell they're passionate about what they're trying and like the ingredients and everything. It's like that bleeds through.
Yeah. Looking back on your career to this point, if you had never met Garrett, if you had never joined Good, your career would look a lot different today. However, if you had never left, your career trajectory would probably not be what it's at today, right? So you needed that start, but also at some point you needed to move on. I think that's something that a lot of maybe younger people in the workplace struggle with, knowing that someone may have given them an opportunity, someone may have given them a start, and they feel like they owe loyalty for X amount of years to this person or X amount of time, but understand at some point they need to move on, and whether it's a new opportunity or a new job or move to a new city, whatever that is. What advice would you give to someone in that situation, knowing, okay, loyalty is important. It's important to show loyalty to those who have had your back, but at some point, you're going to have to do your own thing. What kind of advice would you give to someone who's in that situation?
Yeah, it's funny. My wife actually, or I don't know if it was my wife or one of our mentors, had a really good like one-liner that was really powerful. But it was about loyalty, and like loyalty is not just like, I forget exactly how it's worded, but it was like loyalty is not just completely doing something
because someone wants you to do it.
Exactly. For the rest of your life. Like that's not loyalty.
Right.
Loyalty, it looks a lot different for everyone. But I think it was a wonderful way to get into the space, and it was wonderful for the time that we were there. But yeah, I think the way it's all worked out is like so perfect for us. Like the timing and everything, like I said, like in your life, when you look back at like the time and the sequence of events and where it's all led you to, it's like, it's perfect, you know? And it's like, I wouldn't have changed a thing.
Well, and you gave, I think, an important part for people that are making decisions similar is giving your best when you're in that situation. So I think looking back, when you were in part of GM, when you're part of Good, you gave your all to that. And like, that's all that can be asked of you.
Yeah. Like, I think, if anybody in a job were to like start to work their way up and like do really well and then leave and like go on to do something successful, like if the people there are not, you know, happy for you or like cheering you on, they were never your friends in the first place.
Right.
So it's kind of clear, you know, at that point, like who your friends are.
Right.
So it just kind of shows. And yeah, that's life. I mean, this is what happens.
Yeah. So since leaving to do your own journey, your own individual channel, focusing on that, which you did have before, but now just putting solely your focus on that, you've grown a channel to, I counted, over 40 plus videos of over 1 million views. How did you go from the guy that was known online as the silky smooth swing and the guy with flip outs to a true content creator of printing out videos of 1 million plus views?
Yeah, I would say what you just said there's probably our most proud accomplishment. Like, I think we've posted less videos than anybody out there. We only have like 200 and I don't even know, 80 videos ever posted on YouTube, which is nothing. But the amount of really solid ones that have performed great is wild. I think that was our goal. Sky and I's goal was like, we need to go and create the best quality content.
Over content.
Yes. Quality over quantity was always our method. Like, it was not about how much you're going to upload. It's about what you're going to upload and how well it's going to do and how you're going to ride the momentum. And so, yeah, I would say that's our greatest accomplishment right there in the space, is like every single video we put out was our heart and soul, and like it was a great idea, and it's ones that we're proud of. Like, even the other day, like we posted one that was like diving for golf balls in ponds and then selling them. Like, I love that video. Put a lot of time into it. Some people didn't like it. Some people did. I still thought it was fun, and we had a good time doing it with my buddy Josh Mayer. But yeah, no, I think going from that, like the long form, I would say, back to your question, the long form content, being able to do that well is probably the hardest thing. So, well, like we talked about earlier, like TikTok, Instagram, it's easy to do short form. It's easy to really get a video that pops off. Like, if you post enough, you're going to have one video that catches the algorithm. If they're clever enough, like, you're going to have one video that goes crazy. You just will. Like, it's just inevitable. Like, if you keep posting really good stuff.
But consistent 40 plus videos of that, it's like,
well, it's not even, but to that's also, like the viewership's great, but also what we even look at more is like, so these are a lot of them are hour-long videos, and we're average watch time on these hour-long videos is almost like 28 minutes. So it's like we're close to 50, or we're close to the 50% mark.
Which in today's world is impressive, because to sit down and watch something for even 28 minutes.
It blows. That's what's the coolest thing about what we do, is it's like people are choosing to sit down in their living room, because most of our viewership comes from TVs. And so that's what one of our biggest things has always been family-friendly content. We do not want parents to see their kids watching on the videos and be like, I have to shut this off, because we're doing things that they don't want their kids to see. So that's a huge thing for us. But yeah, what was the question?
Just like when you were on Good, you were known for, dude, that guy's got the silky swing. This guy lips out every single putt. This guy has no eyebrows. But then you came and you're like, arguably I would say for sure top 3 biggest golf YouTubers on the game right now. Like that, a silky swing and lip outs don't correlate to making great YouTube content.
Getting people, like, that was basically my point. I had an ADD moment. I think sitting down and getting people to watch a video for that long has been such a cool thing. Because, like, when you really put it into perspective, it's even cooler than the viewership itself. It's like they care enough to sit and follow the storyline, like whether it's our major cut or our 2v2s or anything. Like, they're truly watching the content, and that is the hardest thing to do. Like, to go from being a short form person to YouTube, anyone will tell you. You talk to any of the people that have just done short form their whole life to now trying to go over to YouTube.
It's a completely different game.
The transition, it's not even.
It's a different job.
It's
going from sales to finance.
Exactly. You can't just go from like being a pro at Instagram Reels then to go over to YouTube and think you're going to just like get into it and master it. Like, it takes so much time. Yeah, and that's definitely, the viewership's amazing. And like, yes, the million views, like I think when we're getting a certain number, like the 1 million to 2 million to 3 million views, like that is like, that's a lot of golfers. Because at the end of the day, we're in the golf niche. And so to pull those views in the golf
There's only so many people that would ever click on a golf.
Exactly. So that's always going to be the most rewarding thing, is like to get over 1 million views on a YouTube golf video is pretty crazy.
So I'm a huge believer in the people that you surround yourself with, the team that you build around you, have a huge part of your success in your life, your failures, everything in between. I think a huge moment for you in your golf content career is hiring Sky as your cameraman / editor. I don't think a lot of people realize it's, as far as the videography and the editing, like it's you guys. Like you don't have a 10-person team doing it.
No.
So I think that was one of the biggest things that you did, is hiring him on as full time.
Yeah.
How did that relationship start, and how do you feel like that's changed your career path?
So it started with Sky sending me an email.
Okay.
A cold just email, like sending me a couple videos he did.
Yeah.
He was working in the church and he was doing like
Have you
documentary.
asked online for?
No.
So he just was like,
so I saw his email and I actually favorited it. And then it like kind of like I emailed him like a month later.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he was watching the videos at the time, and yeah, it kind of just, from there that's like right when I was going out on my own, and that's when I feel like that's when it was the most crucial time to make a difference in the content,
100%.
make better content, and that's
that
where
transition period.
Yes. And then that's where Sky kind of came in. And like, once again, like there's things in your life that happen, going back to what we touched on earlier, like there's things in your life that happen where moments and like decisions happen and people come in that, like, looking back, like I can't even, it's crazy to think about how perfect that timing was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it couldn't have worked in any other way.
You guys
work
in this, like, such a solid partnership.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he's amazing.
Well.
Yeah. Sky, like, to touch on Sky, like when he started out, like he was just like when you edit your first golf video, like it's hard.
Yeah.
Like he knew what he was doing, but like he
didn't come from necessarily a golf editing background.
No, like he had to like learn how to do tracers and stuff and like hand do them. Like,
which he like loves the game now. He's like loves golf, but that was not his forte.
But like, yeah, he was like a COVID golfer.
Yeah.
So he got into golf late. But yeah, like he taught himself how to do everything and just got better and better and better. And yeah, I mean, he just got to a point where like he just kept pushing himself. And it's like, it's cool for like, I'm trying to grow as a content creator and I'm trying to grow with my camera presence and like how I explain things. I'm not trying to change my personality, but I'm still trying to grow.
Just develop yourself.
Yeah, just keep developing. And like Sky, he's trying to develop every video. Like every video is another test.
They're just getting better and better.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, every video is like a test for him to get better and for him to improve his style or to make a new like cutting edge, whatever, like a cut or a graphic or a funny like little moment in golf. So yeah, I've been so lucky to have him. He's pushed himself and he cares so much about the channel. And like, it's funny, like you said, like there's people that have almost every the top YouTube channels
team.
They have a big team. So they have like 5, 6, 7 people, 8 people, whatever. It's just me and Sky. I have 2 managers that are amazing. So like Josh and Joe, like so amazing. Like I talk to them every day, all day. And it's like, I'm working 24/7 because like when I'm not filming, we're working on other stuff.
Deals and
we got like different business stuff going on and videos coming up for sure. So they've been so amazing, but it's like this team, like you said, back to your point, the team that we've created is so powerful. Sky has pushed himself. He cares deeply about the channel. And he's just improved his editing style and how much he cares and like his research on thumbnails and titles and like how we can do it better and how we can tweak little things. And like me and him, like I'm very hands-on as a boss.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like, go ahead, Sky, do your thing. Like I've gotten more that way as time's gone on, but like I'm there since the day Sky started editing videos. Like we did thumbnails and like
together, which I think is huge
because like I have an eye, but like Sky executes it, but I want it a certain way.
Right.
But like now we're kind of gotten to the point, years have gone on now where it's like, I know what he's going to pull off. And it's like, if it's a straightforward thumbnail, he's got it. If it's one that requires more like little like tweaks and whatever, like I'll come over and we'll do it together. But yeah, he's like, you cannot ever take a great videographer or like Sky and what he's doing for granted, because like what he's doing is so amazing.
100%. And I think it's really cool. And what that shows other people is like, he could have easily been like, Grant's never going to see this email. Or like, Grant could see this email and he's never going to respond to me. And that's like failure on my part. People are afraid of failure, right?
Yeah.
He's like, Grant didn't ask for a videographer. Grant didn't ask for this.
Well, he also had another opportunity to go, like he had another job opportunity.
Yeah. And he was like, no, this is what I want to do. I'm going to put myself out there, put myself out that I might fail. And look what it's turned into now.
Yeah. And he obviously believed in me.
Right.
To see that there was like a chance from the beginning. Because if he didn't believe in me, he would have never turned down his other opportunity to then like work for the channel.
Because I think at that point you're using, occasionally an editor here, occasionally a videographer here.
Yeah.
That being able to have, not consistent, being able to have that one guy, you're my guy, let's go here, that's been huge.
Yeah. And there, like I will say though, but like there are a lot of talented videographers in this space. Like there's, Sky does, like he definitely like, you can see what everyone else is doing as well. And you're kind of take like little bits and pieces and trying to improve. Cause like at the end of the day, like nothing's original on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows
who can do it the best.
It's like who can take an idea and kind of make it better and one up it. So yeah, it's been cool to see.
So we talked about your energy at the very beginning. We talked about it. You're producing content now, high quality content, high quality videos at an insane rate. What keeps you motivated or inspired to keep pumping out content? Because you talked about that burnout earlier. This many years into it, you're not feeling that. How are you just still feeling that energy to get up every day and make this type of content?
Yeah, I've never thought of anything else. Like I've never thought of like not getting up and like getting after it. Like I love it. So it's like if it's my passion and it's something I truly love to do, I don't ever like look at it like, oh, I'm getting burnt out. Right. Like, oh, because like I love golf. Yeah. And so my passion for golf and my love for golf it will never change. Like I'll always. So like that in itself, like I just know like not everybody in the space loves golf and like lives and breathes it. Right. That's the reality of like not every YouTube golfer is like loves golf. Now, I'm not trying to say that just because I love golf, I'm so much better, but like I grew up with the game and like now it's like every day that I'm not on camera, I'm still playing the game. Like I don't just like when we're not filming, I don't just go take a vacation. Like it's like the second the camera is done and like we're not filming, I play golf the next 5 days in a row.
No, there's definitely some creators that we know that, they feel like that's their job and they'll go film and record on that day and then they won't pick up the clubs again until the next time they're on camera, which is great.
Fine.
No,
it's fine.
But that's contributed into your feeling of never feeling that burnout and the quality of it is, dude, you love doing what you do.
Yeah. And like I never, like you said, like I just have never, I don't know what's exactly motivating me. Like I don't have like the exact pinpoint. Like obviously the lifestyle that YouTube provides is amazing. And like that's motivating for sure to provide for my family. But it's like, it's more than that. Like I just love it. Like I just, there's no other way to put it than I love, like I couldn't dream of doing anything else in the world. Like it is my true, like I love it. I like wake up, I'm excited. And I remember when I first started doing it, I was like that feeling of like excitement in your chest. You're just like, oh my gosh, this is like amazing. This is the coolest thing ever. Because like at some point in your life, you're thinking like working a different job. And it's like when this happens, it's like, I think what keeps me motivated now that I'm like figuring it out with you right now is, I just don't
want to do anything else.
I don't want to ever do anything else. Yeah. Like I don't see myself doing anything else. So it's like, I think that's what's kept me so motivated.
Which is completely fair because I'm a big, and I've heard people talk about this. I was listening to a podcast a little bit ago. It's an author. His name is Sahil. I forget his last name. But he wrote a book talking about the 5 types of wealth. And yes, money is a part of wealth, but if that's your lone goal and your lone reason for doing things, you'll never find purpose. You'll never find happiness.
100%.
You have to be passionate about the things you're doing.
100%.
Or else that burnout is 100%. Insane.
That's what I'm actually,
Because you reach a level of money, you're like, if I have this much, then you eventually get
100%.
and then you're just like
100%.
at the bottom because you don't feel anything.
Yeah, because like I've kind of reached in the last like couple of years, like the money and everything's like it's wonderful and super, super grateful, super blessed. And everything that comes along with it, like you would, like you're saying, like I thought that if I made this much, like I thought that if, and like you do make that much, and then it's like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
You know, that's human nature.
Human nature.
And like, if that is your one goal, money, to strive to just be rich, it's like that is the most empty feeling. Like if you don't have the thing that I love more than anything are the people around me, like my community and my friends and my family. And the thing I look forward to more than anything in life is like when our house is done.
Yeah.
I was telling Sadie this the other day. Like when our house is done, I just want to host people.
Yeah.
Like
the game can be on. You couldn't even care about the game.
No, I just want to hang with like 10 people at our house and have a bunch of people around, my family around, and like just hang out. Like the house we're in now was kind of like a temporary, like we needed a place to live. But our next house, like we're gonna be able to like sit out back here, and like have like an area for everybody to hang out.
And that's like true wealth, wouldn't you think? Like
100%.
Like true wealth is being able to be around the people that, you know, make you excited, make you feel good, and like show you love, and you can show love back to them and serve them. I think that's the greatest form of wealth,
100%
that you can find.
And I think only thing money really does is it just gives you freedom to, like it gives you freedom to have what I would say is more fun with the people you love. Like, I'm not saying you're just because you have money, you can't have fun. You can have tons of fun without 100%, 100%. Money. You can have like tons of fun being broke. But I would say it enables you to just have different experiences with the people you love. Like my dream has always been to like go own a boat.
I know you're
like,
going right
and go to the Bahamas. Like number one dream was like, I got to get a boat because I want to go fishing. But also like the thing that it's not about just me going to the Bahamas. Like I don't want to go by myself.
You want to take your community.
Yes, I want to take people. I want people to experience how much I love diving and fishing in the Bahamas. And like that is the true, like that's my true wealth.
I think that's important to talk about because it's like I hate when people go like money's not important. It obviously is important because if you don't have, you know, enough money, you can't do certain things. But if all it is about money, then that's where you feel empty. Money allows you to have certain experiences to be able to be, you know, have some type of freedom. So it's important to, you know, when you're doing your career or when you're working a job, money's important. It's okay to make money.
Yeah.
But that can't be your end all be all. Like I don't understand the guys who are like 85, 90, 95 hours work week to make this money.
But what you always see there with those guys is something suffers.
Yeah. The relationships.
Something always suffers with the people that put their marriage, their friendships, and everything second to their career.
Yeah.
I think that, and that's just the truth. Like, look at the greatest of all time. Look at all the greatest of all time. Like, they
don't have always the best marriages.
No. And it's like, but because their career, they focus, and that's what probably made them the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
So it's like something had to suffer. There was like something had to suffer in the midst of putting everything to the side to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I think everybody's idea of true wealth and true fulfillment can be different. Like there's so many different ideas of what like true happiness and true whatever is, but
we have to decide that kind of what I heard the guy talking about on the podcast. And it really stuck with me is you have to pick the game in life that you want to play.
Right.
Do you want to, you can play the game working 90-hour work weeks. You'll get the benefits of what that is for your wealth, but you'll also see the decline of what that is in your relationships and your hobbies and stuff. You have to pick the game that you want to play. I want to pick the game where I can be at 5 o'clock home with my kid, home with my wife, being able to take weekend trips and spend time with my family.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to play that game.
100%.
Which is completely fair. So you're just having to choose, you know, what game you want to play. And I think some people, they're going to work every day or they're doing whatever they're doing and they don't know what game they want to play at the end of the day.
Right.
And I think that's where sometimes they struggle.
Yeah. And I think once you have your kind of priorities in life laid out and then the money comes along and the success per se, all that does is add to like what you already have.
Yeah.
It doesn't it doesn't like add fulfillment or anything. It just adds, freedom.
Yeah.
And an easier side. Like, I don't know. Yeah, life has just been so, for us, like we're just, everything that's happened, and it's like so much being thrown at us and so many amazing blessings. Actually, I was talking with my manager, Josh, about it. Like, he's just as grateful. Like, our whole team is so grateful. Like, we're not, I don't know. It's just, we're all with the same vision, the same mindset, a lot of gratitude. And pride is something that I absolutely cannot stand. And it's something I think we all deal with. But like humility and just waking up every day and like, man, I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe this. Like, not waking up like I'm the man.
Right.
And like, y'all need to listen to me.
I think that's part of the community and the people you surround yourself with. They like, you couldn't wake up in the morning and be like, to say like, I'm the boss. Like, she'd slap that out. You'd be like, no, dude, like you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Surrounding yourself with people
they hold you accountable.
Hold you accountable.
100%.
Don't let you get to that point of like, oh, I made this video like 2 million views last week. Like, I like walk around with it. Like,
it's definitely a great feeling. Don't get me wrong. Like, I deal with, we all deal with like,
well, we're all human. Yeah.
We're all humans. And like, if you drop a big video, it's like, dang, like that was cool.
Right.
But to get to the point where it's like, look at me, I'm better or whatever. That's where it gets really dangerous. Like, you can be excited in the successful, like in the highs. Like, it's fun to be excited about what you just worked hard for and celebrate. But then to let it go any further than that, to then fuel your pride or anything, like that's just the biggest thing that I think in life. Like, even I think anybody, I mean, this is a bold statement, but I think one of the most attractive things in a human quality is humility. And the people that have the most amount of humility, even in the heights of their career, is so attractive. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, humility at the highest point is the greatest quality. Like, because like anybody can be prideful at the mountaintop. Yeah. You know what I mean? But what happens when like you're that, like when you're at the top and you're so, look at me, prideful, and then it all falls. Yeah. It's like,
well, you were talking about like Michael Phelps earlier. Like, obviously his career at this point was, in the back shadows. If he spent his whole career, I mean, I don't know him personally, so I don't know where his thoughts are at now, but if he spent his whole career like, I'm the best, I'm this, eventually you can't swim forever. You got to be able to beat, who is Michael Phelps outside of the pool? Like, how does he treat people outside, Well,
he probably had to do some deep diving on his own,
I like that.
It happens. Oh, that's true. I didn't even think of that one. But Michael Phelps for sure. He had to take some laps and do some deep diving outside of the, outside of his career, and like figure out what his, and I feel like it's a good thing. Like, I think God does that, and he orchestrates that in a way that it's going to it shows you where your true value is in life. Like, what is all your value? And is it in your identity of your career? Yeah. Or where is it?
I think that's huge. Because
everyone has to like look within, and that's where it is.
If your identity is on how many views you get on your last video, what happens when, the last video was 10 out of 10? Yeah. As far as YouTube has it where it's 10 out of 10 video means it's the worst of your last video when you're looking at content. When it's
so when we say 10 out of 10 or 1 out of 10 or 5 out of 10, so YouTube essentially ranks your last 10 videos on how well they're doing, compared to the last 10. So if you drop a video and it's a 1 out of 10, that's the best. Like, that means it's outperforming every video
of your last 10.
And like, for us to drop a 1 right now would be, it would have to pass Tiger,
right?
Which we have a video coming up that I think will. I think it's going to pass Tiger really quick. But
shout out Tiger.
Yeah, I think we've like the way YouTube is set up, it is set up to really quick take your happiness away. Yeah. Just like Snapchat.
Or like 10 out of 10 is like after you put so much work in on a video.
Yeah.
Because like something has to be 10 out of 10.
Oh, 100%.
Like you post 10
but
videos,
I think
it has to be the least viewed.
Yeah, but the reality of what we're doing now is we know, like almost every time we know what we're posting.
Yeah.
We know if it's going to be a 10 usually. We know if it's going to be up towards the top. We know where it's usually going to hang because we just know the value of either the guest or the concept or what's happening. And so, yeah, we can usually nail it on the head pretty good, like what we're about to post. That's actually been pretty cool. It's like we can predict what is going to do well. And so knowing already before you post it, is this actually what my audience wants to see? It's the most important thing.
Okay, so we kind of talked about things that you have learned from YouTube and how to grow it. So if you were talking to someone came up to you, it doesn't even have to be golf related, just generic YouTube channel. They're passionate about it. You can see it's not whether they're passionate about it or not. They're passionate about it. Mm-hmm. They want to grow a YouTube channel. What are some things that you've learned about YouTube that they can apply, anyone can apply to help grow their channel?
Thumbnails are the most important thing, and titles. So understanding thumbnails and titles, and I think the most important thing is already having the video thumbnail title laid out in concept in your head before you ever post it.
Backwards planning.
Backwards. So before, when YouTube golf wasn't saturated, like I think we would just go out and shoot a video and you'd think about the title and thumbnail after.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, if we don't have the title and thumbnail already picked out, and like, what are we doing? Like, you can't just go out there and shoot a video. Like, it's all planned, the idea, the concept. So whether you're in, general entertainment or whatever, or you're passionate about tennis or pickleball or chess or fishing, it's like already have the concept that you want to shoot in your mind, have the thumbnail laid out in your head of how it could look to drive clicks. Like, what is a unique looking thumbnail that people would see when they're scrolling on their TV? They're going to see and it's going to stick out. Right. So like, it's not just your average. Like,
you got 1 second to grab them.
Right. So when they're scrolling, don't create a crappy thumbnail. Put effort into that, because you can truly have a bad video with a great thumbnail and it still does okay.
Yeah.
That's the,
because
if you have a great
lot of people,
video,
once they click, they put that remote down and like, even
if you get them hooked,
if you get them hooked.
Yeah. But if you have a great video with a bad thumbnail, they'll never get to see your great video because the thumbnail was bad.
Is there any videos that you've ever posted where you feel like the title or thumbnail maybe didn't make it as good of a video as you thought it should have been?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's been videos that I was like, that was the greatest video there was one, I surprised my friend, or I surprised a fan with his dream golf trip to Stream Song. His name was Micah. He played baseball. He's only been playing for like 6 months. He shot 79 and made a birdie on the final hole to break 80 after playing for like 6 months. Extreme Song. Yeah. Incredible video. Like one of the best we've ever posted. 10 out of 9 or 9 out of 10. Yeah. Like no one even, did not perform well, but I knew literally like in my heart, I was like, this is the greatest video that we've posted this year. It was so electric. I chipped in on the final hole for eagle. He holds a putt. Like it was, we were like screaming and yelling and hugging, and you're just like, what just happened? Like, it's one of those moments where you're like, how is this on camera? It's like, we have to post this right now. Oh my gosh. Like, this is gonna be the greatest video. You post it, it's like just so slow. And you're like, dude, like this was the greatest. And then there's some videos that aren't that great and they're just,
how do you train your brain because I feel like probably when you first, because our brains are so results focused. Right?
Oh yeah.
It's so results oriented. You can make the best video.
Yeah.
But if it's not getting that viewership, it's so easy to get like down and like,
oh yeah.
Have you tried to like trick your brain in any way, or just kind of not pay attention to as much as you, how do you go about it?
Man, I'm pretty bad about it. Yeah.
Maybe something.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm always working on. Yeah. I think I get really caught up in like the numbers and the analytics right away. And so, yeah, definitely trying to always have perspective on it. And the reality is some videos like the one I talked about, like diving for golf balls, like that was always going to be a slow grower. And that was always going to be one that you check back in maybe like 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now how many views does it have? Right. Because at the end of the day, there's some videos that are slow growers and they take time and they keep going. So kind of reminding myself there, like, okay, let's check back in 6 months and see where this video is at viewership wise, because you don't know.
Right.
So
that's because it was different content than you normally post.
It's different content, but it's also with the idea that it could push out to like
different people who wouldn't just click on necessarily
a match.
Golfing with just
exactly. But it is very golf niche, right. But the idea is kind of unique because it's like, I'm gonna go sell these golf balls to then try and afford golf clubs to go play around at all.
Because
So it's
maybe
like,
someone was watching a diving video about diving with sharks in the ocean.
there you go.
The diving got them to diving with golf balls. They
You
get
never
to your
know.
channel.
Exactly.
That's how the internet works.
So right, and that's when you start to bring in a new audience.
Yep.
Because if you post the same thing over and over, like you're going to usually hit your same audience. But if you want to really expand,
Right.
you got to sometimes take a risk. And that was a risk video for us, but it's still like, it's not doing bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 9 out of 10 right now, but it's growing and it's showing good signs. But yeah, no, what you're saying, definitely struggled with that. Having a wife that is very, very supportive and very, very like even keel.
Yeah.
Like my wife is, she's like, okay, like everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like a very high strung energy, like how can we make it better? If it's not performing well, like how can we switch the thumbnail and title to make it better? Like what do we not do right? Why do people not like this video as much?
You met Sadie pretty early on in the golf content. Where do you think you'd be if you never had met her? Do you think a lot of your success would you give to what she's
for
able to
sure.
provide you?
For sure. She's been, oh my gosh, like having a great, like women, like just a wife, like a really supportive wife that is mature and just understands you.
Yeah.
And knows like your faults and everything, and like knows how to just make you like, if I was on my own and something, certain things were happening, I feel like I'd be like a mess. But like Sadie is just so calm and so relaxing and reassuring and puts things into perspective so quick. And I feel like, that's been such a help with some highly stressful times in our life. Yeah, she's just been amazing.
Because it's easier not to bring work home as much when you have someone else to focus on and help serve and
for sure. For sure. But it's also just like, I don't know, she's just different. Like she's not your average 23-year-old girl. Like she's just way different. Like she's not, I don't know. She's always been so mature and so calm and supportive of everything. So yeah, it's give a lot of credit. Like there's so many people to give credit to though.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not one person. There's so many amazing people that have come together at the right time in my life to give credit to.
I think people underestimate how powerful having a good spouse is in your life. And I think in our culture, it's people are getting married later and later and serious dating is happening later and later. I think people don't realize how truly beneficial and better life can get when you find that person that like makes you want to be better. And, it supports you in that way.
100%.
So
yeah, that's true. And just like you're saying, like the team though too, like your team around your spouse, but then also like you need mentors.
Yeah.
Like every successful person needs a good mentor.
And mentees.
If they don't, so if a very successful, ego-driven, prideful person does not have a mentor, they have a lot of yes people, yes men around them that all yes. Yeah. What do you want? Like, yes, you're great. You're the best. If all they have is their ego being fluff 24/7, that's when they get down to the clouds. And so when you have a team around you that keeps you grounded and are great mentors, I think that's the most important thing as well.
Yeah. I think that's huge. And I heard as a pastor, Noah Heron, talk about how it's important to, especially once you're at a certain spot, if there's not at least one person that you're mentoring yourself, kind of maybe what's the purpose of it? If you're not digging in and helping the next generation. So I think it's important to when you're phasing through life, time where you're always having mentors in your life, but also finding ways to be that positive influence for other people too. Because you don't want to just climb the mountain and, wave at everyone at the bottom. We want to pull people up. At the same
100%.
time.
100%.
That's huge into development. So we talked earlier about, golf content has gotten very saturated. Do you think it's to the point where the saturation has become too much? Or do you think there's still opportunities for people to come into the game late and make a difference? And where do you see that kind of hole in content where, okay, I can see this part of golf content creation, someone can come in and still make content and grow in a way where, they're able to make a living off of it?
Yeah, it's the best question you asked all day, because that's something we talk about all the time. Honest truth, over 4 years now of doing it, I've seen like one or two people break in. It's like Bob the Sports. and like Busted Jack kind of, they broke in pretty well, but like everyone else was kind of already there.
Original, yeah.
And so to say like, do I think there's going to be somebody that just comes up? I mean, yeah, there's always room for like a crazy golf content creator for sure. But I think the next probably come up per se would be like more of like a PGA Tour pro, or a LIV pro creating their own channel and doing something really good.
Someone who's already established.
But with that being said, they still have to understand YouTube and the time commitment and everything that goes into it. So like your Bryson DeChambeau, like I've never viewed Bryson as like a YouTuber. Like he is a unbelievable professional golfer that has literally, he just won a major, and like he's not, it's a whole different world what he's doing. Like it's not even, but he's still creating YouTube golf content, but it's not like I look at Bryson like a YouTuber.
Some of his videos are so funny, bro. When he played with like the Kirkland set, I was like, oh yeah. It was like, that would be something I would think of. Can I get those clubs for cheap? Work for me? He's like, I'm going to.
Bryson has a wonderful team around him too. Yeah. Like the best of the best team around him. So, but yeah, it's hard to say. It is so oversaturated right now, but I like, it's also
a good thing though too.
Yeah.
Because it creates competition.
100%.
Competition creates good quality product.
There is, yes. And there are tons and tons of viewers out there that are ready for great videos. They're ready for another crazy collab. They're ready for our major cuts and Bryson's break 50s, you know, some good series that people have been following along. I would say like two series that I would say like are very, like there's probably only like 2 series that I would say like right now that are like truly thriving in the whole YouTube space. Like people are following along, and that'd be like the break 50 and then me, George, and Wes's major cut. Like truly like engaged and like can't.
Like every episode.
Yeah, they're like waiting for the next one.
You know what I actually like? And again, I have a toddler, so my YouTube time is very limited these days. So I try to understand the space just because I find it interesting, but I don't get all the content as much as I once could. But what I've found very interesting lately and liked is they've only had 2 videos, is the 59 Mulligan challenge.
Yeah.
That they've been doing.
Yeah.
For some reason, that video is just their banter with each other.
Oh yeah, George and Wes. Yeah. They're the best. They
so that brotherly like.
Yeah, and it's funny. So Wes is like he really is great at coming up with ideas. We talk a lot about YouTube. George as well, but like George, I don't feel like he's sitting there every day thinking about the next YouTube video. I feel like Wes really wants to think about content. It's amazing because like he's on the tour.
Well, yeah, that's not his like number one thing. But
no, but he loves
takes
YouTube.
Off.
He loves like, I think George loves shooting his like the certain type of content that he wants to do,
right?
Like the competition, the Q school, and storytelling. But Wes is more like into the ideation, like what's the next giant video that we can shoot that's like so cool, like the skins game, like the $100,000 skins
that was
game.
Sick. That was
like,
actually sick.
Yeah, like
that's one of the few videos I've had time to like. I made sure I follow along throughout the days of, even though I couldn't watch it all one day. I was like, I want to see who wins.
Money. It's amazing.
Because like even to YouTubers, $10,000 cash is $10. No one's gonna scoff at that.
Yeah, 100%. And so yeah, it's like their Mulligan challenge is awesome. Like they're just the best. George and Wes, like both of them have been such great people to have in your corner and great friends. Like I truly I owe a lot to them and just our friendship. They've been awesome.
So we've talked about past, talked about present. Let's dive a little bit into the future. What are some things that you're excited coming up this year, coming up next 3 to 5 years, 10 years? You know, some stuff's under wraps, some things in the works. What are some things that you can talk about that you're excited for?
Yeah, I mean, there's some crazy stuff. Like it's all so, like a lot of it I will never, because like you don't want to hype something up that doesn't happen, but there's things that they will happen, but I would prefer, like,
business and contract wise, you can't talk about
exactly. And it's without like the Phil and I 2v2 series. Yeah. The next one coming out,
which is just incredible. Let's just jump into that. Just very small. We're talking about in a generation span of like 30 years, the second best player in that generation, undoubtedly
unbelievable.
You just like you're just friends with the dude and you just are just playing 2v2s. That's just like incredible to see. He's wearing your guys' joggers.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Phil is the man.
Crazy.
Like, so much fun to film with. He's been so nice. And I want people out there to know that. Like, Phil has gotten a lot of backlash in the last couple of years, and it's like he does not deserve any of that. Like, he is such a nice guy. He's a absolute legend of the game. Yeah. Like,
legend.
Like, you can't, it's hard to even like put it into a scale of like how good he actually, like, he was amazing. And obviously he was doing this during the Tiger Woods run.
Dude, if he wasn't in Tiger's era, like, who knows the numbers he would hit.
Exactly. But yeah, we can go on that forever. But
just filming YouTube matches with the guy.
It's crazy. And the next one we have coming out, what I wanted to say, the next video we have coming out with me and Phil, the next matchup, I think might be our most viewed golf video of the year. Could be up there. I think it could be our most viewed golf video of 20. No, there's one more that might pass it. But it will be up there. Like, it will be one of the most viewed videos we ever post in 24 hours. It's that good.
That's pretty.
I am so excited to post it. It's coming out March 3rd.
Okay. So this may have already, it probably has already came out.
Yeah, no, no one knows. Like, me and Phil, we kind of made an agreement. Like, we're not going to talk about who we have coming on until it's like right about to release. Yeah. Because we shoot a couple and we'll actually have them in the bank.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's kind of how this will be. So this will probably be posted after. So
you'll probably have like Phil Mickelson and like Josh Allen. And all these
Josh will be the next guys. Yeah. But no, yeah. So you can't fully talk about things you got coming up. Let's just big picture it. You're sitting Grant Horvat, your 40th birthday party, Grant Horvat golf at 40 years old. What does that look like to you?
Me at 40?
That, but also your career at that point.
Wow.
What are some things that you wanted to do by then?
Wow. I feel like I'm doing right now. I mean, there's lots of things I want to strive to do, but like, it's crazy to say I'm almost doing close to everything I could have dreamed of. I don't really have, like, I never had dreams to go play on the PGA Tour or like be a pro golfer. So like, for what I'm doing in the space that I love, I'm basically like, we're on track now to cover all the bases. And it's not something like I'm going to do it all and then be like, all right, what do I do with my life? Right. Like, I have other things I love and I'm very passionate about. Like, I have other hobbies.
Dude, once you get your boat, we may never see you.
Yeah, right. No, but yeah, 40-year-old me, hopefully I'm in the Bahamas just fishing every day. And we have our house in the Bahamas and we're fishing because that's just like with a bunch of people. Yeah. We have people and we're just hanging out and playing a bunch of golfing and fishing every day. That's just dream. Kids by then, of course, but yeah, 40-year-old, definitely having a golf course, owning a golf course.
That'd be so sick. I think that's like every golf guy's dream is like their own course. That would
owning a golf course and just playing all the time and having something, obviously I'm going to always want to be doing something and you want your mind to be working towards something and fresh. I don't know if I'll be doing YouTube videos at 40. It's a long time. That's a long time.
That's a lot of thumbnails.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll be doing that, but hopefully I am because I love it. Yeah. So
maybe in some type of capacity.
Yeah. Maybe it looks different. It will all look different. That's a long time from now. That's 14 years.
You ever thought about doing anything specifically for, like juniors or like running a tour? Does that ever like cross your mind? Like running a certain type of like tournament? Is it just right now you're just strictly, this is what I'm doing?
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten there yet. I actually have a tournament this summer. Like I hosted one last summer at Pinehurst. Amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking is.
Yeah, amazing experience. I hosted a tournament. So fulfilling. One of the most rewarding things I've done is hosting that junior tournament. And all the kids that were playing in it, all watching all the videos, and they were studs. So that was an aha moment in my whole YouTube golf career, was like hosting this junior golf tournament, seeing how unbelievably good these kids are. And like some of these kids that I was watching will be the next big deal. The Ludwigs, the Jordan Spieth, the Justin Thomas, the Phil Mickelsons. Like, you don't know.
Right.
Like, those kids were so good.
So
and they all were such big fans of the channel and so invested into the channel. And for me, it's like, wow, like that younger generation, like YouTube golf is so impactful.
That's their PGA Tour golf. Like we grew up, it's like, oh, our guy is, you know, Tiger, or for me, like I was kind of in high school as Spieth was making his, you know, rise up. And so Spieth was my guy. It's like, I think we're going to see some guys on tour in like 10 years where it's like, no, Grant Horvat was my guy, or Garrett Clark was my, like, that was who and so that's
you never know.
Cool.
You never know. I don't know if I see them saying that about like their inspiration for being a pro golfer, but hey, you never know. Maybe it got them in the door and made them start playing golf. You just never know. But that was probably one of the most fulfilling moments with everything we've done, is like giving back and hosting that junior tournament, seeing the kids.
I definitely wouldn't underestimate how much YouTube golf has played a factor on the amount of youth golfers getting into the game. I mean, I coach a high school golf team. I had 26 kids come out for the team this year. Mm-hmm. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
And I think YouTube golf has been a huge factor in that. And kids want to get out and play golf. They see how fun it is and how fun people online have had made it. And I think that's great for the sport. It's not just growing the game. Yeah, we want, 25 and 30 and 4-year-olds to get into it. I think the most important people to get into it is the kids. And I think YouTube golf does a really good job of it.
Yeah. And if anyone has made it this far in the podcast, which this is a long video, I don't even know how long this is, and you are watching right now, go subscribe to Johnny Talks.
For sure.
Just let's show him some love. This is your first podcast. You had obviously had this idea that you wanted to like travel around and interview people and figure out what makes them successful, kind of do a lot of deep diving, and that's such a cool thing. And like, I hope from here on out, it just starts to go, I hope you get some amazing guests, because that's going to be so cool to watch. But yeah, if you guys have made it this far, go subscribe. Make sure you stay tuned for videos that you're going to be releasing in the future too.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. I'm going to be chomping. Yeah, I'm going to be I'm going to have the little notification bell turned on. I get notified on my phone. Johnny Talks uploaded a new episode with Tiger Woods. And I'll be like, dude, you just got Tiger Woods? Yeah, how did you get Tiger Woods on the podcast?
Probably you.
No. He was just like, I texted him. I hit him up. I DM'd him. He was like, dude, I would love to come on your pod.
So one last somewhat serious question. You started to share your faith more, I would say this last year.
Yeah.
What was some of the reasons why you decided to do that, and what does your faith mean to you?
Yeah, I think, I don't know the exact moment, but I remember when I first started doing YouTube, having kids come up and repeating like parts of the video, like reciting moments, and just seeing like how much of a sponge they are to like what we're saying, and it's going into their brain, and like they're, it was such a wake up moment for me. And like, I need to start truly being the right type of person on camera. And like, it's not like I needed to change who I was, but it was like, my faith is so important to me. That's like my number one thing. Like, that is at the top. That's the reason any of this has happened, is because of the Lord and my trust in him, and like how he's guided me and just provided throughout the ups and the downs and all the hard moments. So I owe it all to him. Like, I don't really, like, I don't want to take credit for everything. And it's like, look what I did, it's like, look what he did in our life. And, I think it's such an important thing. And before I was living with the Lord in my heart and following Jesus, I feel like I was lost. Yeah. And I was just being an idiot in college and just going out and just so lost and so sad and confused about like where my life was going to go and the direction. And it was just felt like there was just aimless. Like I wasn't. And so if for me, like my faith is like, if I had this amazing news to share with somebody, and it's like something that changed my life, and like I didn't share it with other people that are maybe struggling out there watching this, and they're like, my life, I don't know what to do with my life. It feels like it's just going upside down. It's like, I feel like I'd be doing a disservice.
Right. Well, it's like when you're a Christian, you believe that Christ like died on the cross for your sins, and that gives you eternal life when you put your trust in him. You compare that to, you know, at the end of our life, like it's either like life or death. You know what I'm saying? So if
and there's a lot of people watching this that probably are, they get to this point in the video, they're like, oh, I don't want to hear about that.
Right.
Like I'm out. Like this is.
But imagine everyone. I heard it one day and it changed how I thought about this, because sometimes I didn't feel comfortable sharing, or I knew maybe some people didn't want to hear about it. If the whole world had cancer and I was the one person that had the cure to cancer and I didn't give it to them, I'd be the worst person on earth.
Right.
So when you think about it, at the end of our lives, it's life or death, and I know who gives true life, and I'm not sharing that, I'm the worst.
There's not a single person that is, I'm telling you, there's not a single person that's decided to follow Jesus or open up the Bible and been like, that was terrible.
Right. Yeah.
I hated every like, I need to run. Yeah. Like, if they did, they never knew him in the first place.
Yeah.
They never had a relationship and never actually wanted to follow the Lord. So, yeah, without going off on a whole podcast that we can talk about that, I think it's such an important thing. And it's cool to see like Scotty Scheffler. Like, I talk about him a lot because it's like,
Scotty,
dude, he's the best golfer on the planet. He shares his faith. Like,
such a good guy.
And I feel like it's the most intimidating thing ever if I was playing against Scotty.
Yeah.
Like, if your whole identity is in golf, but you're playing against a guy that's identity is not in golf, and he's like, he's fired up. Don't get me wrong. Scotty is so competitive. It doesn't make you less competitive because you're a Christian. It doesn't make you like a pushover.
Yeah.
But your value and where you put your identity is not in golf. And so like the guy that's like, my whole life is in majors and my whole life is how many tournaments I can win.
Yeah.
You got Scotty, who's over here like, I love Meredith. I love my kid. Like, I just want to, you know, be the best dad. It's like,
it's inspiring.
It's inspiring. Yeah. And I feel like Scotty's raised the question for a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Of like, what is this whole Jesus thing? Like, what is faith? Like, I never knew anything about this. Like, I need to look a little more into this.
I really appreciate him and what he's done and how he's spoken out. I think he's shown some real good Christian qualities in that way.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate him for that. So moving on a little lighter, we're going to end this coming up here. To close this episode, I thought it'd be cool to start a fun little segment. So the segment is, I went on Twitter, X, the everything app.
Yeah.
And I searched your name and I read tweets until I laughed at one. And then I'm going to read that one to you and I'm going to see your thoughts on it.
Okay.
So this one is from @DaceDarius. And his tweet read, Grant Horvat, great golfer and great guy, always looks like he is suffering from horrible allergies.
Yeah. I read a lot of eyebrows comments, I have like dark.
Do you have allergies?
No, but I just have like dark circles around my eyes, and everyone thinks I don't sleep. Like, I sleep so good. It was just boring. Like, I just have dark circles around my eyes, and I have no eyebrows. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. I feel healthy. I don't think I have anything wrong with me. Maybe I do. I probably am a little crazy, but no, I get like 8 to 9 hours of sleep. I don't know what happened to my eyebrows, so. Yeah,
well, you heard it here first on Johnny Talks. Grant Horvat, no allergies.
Yeah, no allergies.
And that was Grant Horvat. We unfortunately lost audio and video weirdly at the same time at the end of his interview. We just missed a little rapid fire segment at the end, so we did get the majority of the interview. Little technical difficulties on that, but I do appreciate Grant for coming on. He did not have to do that. You know, he's got a lot of people pulling his attention either way. He's very, very busy at this moment, and so I just appreciate him coming on. A podcast that this was the first episode. There was no guaranteed viewership. He did not have to do that. But, you know, it just kind of shows what kind of the person he is. I really hope that you guys could get some great information out of it, learn a little bit more about him, but also whether you're pursuing, you know, golf content in general, or, you know, anything that he talked about as far as his faith, or, you know, just how he goes about his work and passion. I think there's a lot of great nuggets of information and truth that you can get out of his interview. So just appreciate Grant for coming on again. First episode of Johnny Talks in the books. If you watch it on YouTube, make sure, give it a like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. Obviously, it's the first episode, and so we want people to be able to find us. Let me know when and how I can get better, because that's my ultimate goal, is to be able to serve you guys the best I can and create content that's beneficial for all. So yeah, but that is going to wrap it up for the first episode of Johnny Talks. If you have made it this far, I appreciate you. MVP behavior on your end. I just think you appreciate it more than you know. We got a lot of good stuff coming up, a lot of super cool guests. Next week, actually, we have our first professional athlete joining the podcast, and I think it's going to be a super fun interview, beneficial for all. So make sure you stay tuned and be on the lookout for that. Until next time, we'll see you later.